Greetings, pen pals. I have another special episode today. This is where I go over all the pens I used each day for the preceding month. So these are all the pens I use each day for work, just taking notes and things like that during the month of September 2020. So I got a whole bunch of pens to go through. They're in no particular thematic order. They're just the order in which I use them during the month of September. So let's get right to it, shall we? The first pen up is definitely the oldest pen of the bunch and might be one of the oldest pens I own. This is an A.A. Waterman middle joint eyedropper. It's from the very early part of the 20th century. Now, when you hear the name Waterman, the brand that we think of today is the French Waterman company, which comes from the American company L.E. Waterman. A.A. Waterman was a similar in name competitor to L.E. Waterman, and in fact there was lots of litigation involving the use of the Waterman name. Some later A.A. Waterman pens actually were legally required to put physically on the pen that they were not affiliated with the L.E. Waterman company. Tons of litigation. They changed the name of the company a couple of times. A whole interesting history here. Don't need to go into it, but this pen is really spectacular. It's a black hard rubber pen, no chasing. It's smooth. It's a pull to uncap. It is what they call a middle joint eyedropper, meaning the seam where you open it up to eyedropper it is right in the middle of the pen, as opposed to on either end. This pen I've had for quite a while. This pen I was actually kind of proud. I actually got this pen to write myself. This pen didn't write at all when I got it, like literally zero. It turned out that there was just too much of a gap between the nib and the feed. I was able to heat set this ancient ebonite feed, and now it actually writes really well. So that's this pen again, A.A. Waterman middle joint eyedropper. Great, basically almost ancient pen that I own, and we can get to writing with it right here. Okay, so like we said, this pen is a A.A. Waterman number 3 middle joint eyedropper. And this ink is Waterman Serenity Blue. Writes really well too. Nice pen. Really like this. Really like this pen a lot. All right, next up is a pen from OMAS. OMAS is unfortunately a pen company that went out of business quite a few years ago. This is an OMAS 360. This is the 75th anniversary edition. It's got a great gold nib, ebonite feed. Really love it. It's got this very unique reload triangle profile to the pen. You can, if you look at the cap, that's a really good way of showing what the shape of the pen is. It's really cool pen. It does have this triangular section though, obviously, because the whole pen's triangular. So there you go. So this is a OMAS 360, and this is the 75th anniversary edition. Again, I love the way this pen writes. Great pen. It's a real shame about OMAS going out of business. Really a shame. And this ink is my only custom blend. I call this Allen's Yellow. This is a blend, my own secret formula of a couple of different inks mixed together to get a ink that is definitely yellow, but still quite readable. At least that was my goal here. So this is my Allen's Yellow to go with my yellow OMAS 360 pen. All right, next up is a very big pen from India. This is a Ranga Giant 9B. Beautiful ebonite clipless pen. Really nice. Has a Indian-made can-write nib in broad. I've switched the nib a few times on this pen. This pen came with an extra nib, plus I've gotten extra nibs from Ranga over the years, etc. So I've actually Probably had 3 or 4 different nibs in this pen over the couple of years that I've had it, and it has an ebonite feed. Really, really nice pen. So this is a Ranga Giant 9B. Writes great. Really, really like it. And this is in broad, and it's steel. This ink is Robert Oster Soda Pop Blue. Ranga Giant 9B. Really, really nice pen. I have a full video. I actually did an unboxing, I think, of this pen when I first got it. So really, really nice. By the way, some of these pens you see in this video, I have done full reviews of. Others I have not. If you see a pen that I have not done a full review on, and you would like to see the full review of that pen, please feel free to let me know, and I will do the best I can to get the full review done of it. Next up is a very popular pen. Some might even say a flagship pen from Pilot. This is a Pilot Custom 823. This has a medium 14 karat nib. Really, really nice, beautiful nib. In fact, this is a vac filler. Writes really well. Love, love, love this pen. Really one of my favorites, actually. Looks great. I love the clip on this with the ball. Everything about this pen I just absolutely love. A real favorite of mine. And this ink is actually a bottle of ink that came with the pen. This is plain old Pilot blue, but it is a really, really nice blue ink. Really, really like this pen quite a bit. Next pen is my most recent acquisition from Ranga. This is the Ranga Ganesha. This is an acrylic pen from Ranga that features a number 8 Bach titanium nib. This is just fantastic. I love this pen. Fairly new. Might be the newest pen I have of the whole bunch this month. So this is another pen from Ranga. This is a Ranga Ganesha. And this has a number 8 Bach titanium nib. In medium. Really, really nice pen, nice nib, etc. And this ink is Noodler's Blue Black. Great pen. Really like the way this writes. Really, really nice pen. Ranga Ganesha. All right, next up is another pen from Pilot that is really not very well known at all. This is the Pilot Legno 89S. This is a wooden bodied pen from Pilot. Pilot makes a couple of wooden pens that are not fountain pens. I'm going to do a video on those someday, actually. But this is a wooden bodied fountain pen. It is a pretty small pen, not a big pen at all. So if you could compare it here, I'll compare it to a Pilot Explorer, which I'm going to be showing you in a few minutes. You can see it's a bit smaller than that. So it's not a big pen. If you look at it unposted, it's actually quite a small pen. I'd love a large version of this pen. Like, here's a Pilot Custom 823. I'd love a pen with this wooden body in this size. Would just be absolutely spectacular. But this is a beautiful real wood pen. Feels like wood. Everything about it's wood. Section is acrylic, but has a 14 karat nib. Beautiful nib. Writes really well. Really, really nice pen. So this is a Pilot Legno 89S. And this ink is Iroshizuku Kujaku. Pilot Legno 89S. Really nice pen. Not a well-known pen at all from Pilot. All right. Next up is a pen that I've actually talked about quite a bit. I don't think I've ever done a full review video of it, but it's a very well-known pen as well. This is the Visconti Homo Sapiens Bronze Age Oversize. This is what uses what's called a power filler from Visconti. So it's basically a vac filler without a shut-off valve. So it doesn't have like a shut-off valve like most other vac fillers have. Visconti has recently come out with a couple of variants on this pen, one with a small ink window, one with a large transparent section, etc., because this pen has no ink window and no way of telling the ink level. Also, this is an older one which has a 23 karat palladium nib. They have since switched to 18 karat gold. So this is a little bit of a, I guess, a collector's item almost, because, like I said, Visconti switched up the nibs on this. So this is a Visconti Homo Sapiens Bronze Age Oversize. And this has a 23 karat palladium nib. And in case you're wondering, the material of the pen is a resin made from lava from Mount Etna in Italy. So it has a very, very kind of unique, almost kind of warm feel to it. It's really, really completely unique in terms of material. Really spectacular. A grail pen for a lot of people. This is a really nice pen. And this ink is Waterman Absolute Brown. Great, great, great pen. Visconti Homo Sapiens Bronze Age Oversize. Great pen. Next up is another clear acrylic demonstrator pen from Moonman. This is the Moonman S5. This is my most sort of recent acquisition in terms of Moonman pens. I just did a full video of this fairly recently. It has this little rhinestone in there for a roll stop, which is about one of the few things I don't like about this pen. It has a really nice number 5 nib, but I would have really preferred a number 6 nib in here. It's an eyedropper only pen from Moonman, does post, and it writes pretty well. So what we got here, as we said, oh, this pen actually also came with 3 nibs, by the way. Check my review out. I'll show you. You'll see each of the nibs that I did in a minute. I try all the nibs in the video, so you get to see all of them. So this is a Moonman S5, and this particular nib that I have in it at the moment, which is my favorite of the 3, has an oblique broad. And this ink is Colorverse Apollo 11. Moonman S5. Pretty new pen from Moonman, my most recent of the Moonman pens that I own. Next up is a pretty new, inexpensive pen from Sailor. This is the Sailor Compass. It's a steel-nibbed, $29 pen from Sailor. Comes with a it comes in a bunch of different colors, and the color of the converter actually matches the color of the pen, which is kind of unique and kind of cool because I really like it. Also has a transparent feed, which picks up the color of the ink pretty nicely. So this is a Sailor Compass. Whoop. And this ink is Sailor Studio, which is a new line of inks from Sailor, by the way, number 770. So they have about 100. They have 100 inks, all with different numbers. And I thought this yellow actually matched this pen pretty much perfectly. So there we go, Sailor Studio 770, Sailor Compass, inexpensive pen from Sailor. Even at $29, that's kind of almost pushing it for this pen. That's about the maximum this pen's really worth, because it's really just, it is a pretty inexpensive pen, but it is a nice pen, writes well. I did a full unboxing video of this just a little while ago. Next one is one of my all-time favorites, my Platinum 3776 Century in the Bourgogne finish, which I just absolutely love. Great, beautiful 14 karat nib in this platinum pen. Writes spectacularly, really, really nice. So this is a platinum 3776 Century. And this ink is pretty much a perfect match. This ink is J. Herbin Rouge Bourgogne. Really love the way this pen writes. This is really one of my absolute favorites of all time. Platinum 3776 Century. Speaking of favorite pens of all time, this one could also make a run of it as well. This is the Pelikan M805 Ocean Swirl. Just look at the finished material on this thing. This is just nothing short of spectacular. Writes absolutely gorgeous. Look at that nib. Beautiful gold nib. Just absolutely a gorgeous, gorgeous pen. So what we have here is a Pelikan M805 Ocean Swirl. And this ink is just plain old Pelikan turquoise. Great pen. Love this pen. It's a piston filler. One of my favorites. M805 Ocean Swirl from Pelikan. Great pen. Next up is another little known pen from Pilot. Doesn't get a lot of attention. This is the Pilot Tank. It's not normally sold in the US market. This is actually a eyedropper filled pen from Pilot. It is designed and sold as an eyedropper pen. So inexpensive pen, steel nib, nothing particularly fancy. I do like the way the concentric rings on the section give you a lot of grip. Very long section. Really, really nice pen. Pilot Tank. So like we said here, we have the Pilot Tank. And this has a medium steel nib. And this ink is Iroshizuku Inaho. Pilot Tank. Really nice pen from Pilot. Underrated, doesn't get a lot of attention, and is a pretty inexpensive pen as well. Next up is another inexpensive pen from Pilot. This is the Pilot Explorer. This is kind of Pilot's answer to the Lamy Safari. It's even less expensive. It's pretty much an all plastic pen though. It really, really nice, writes well, really nicely made, has a really nice nib, similar nib to say on the Metro, etc. I actually think this is a nicer pen than the Metropolitan. You could actually put more different choice of converters here. I happen to have a Con 50 in here, but you could actually fit a Con 70 in this pen. So you do have more choices of converters than you do with a lot of other much more expensive Pilot pens, in fact. So, so like we said, this pen here is the Pilot Explorer. And this has a medium steel nib. And this ink is Iroshizuku. Shin Roiku. Pilot Explorer. Really nice pen. Like this one a lot. If you're thinking of getting a Lamy Safari, check this one out. Next up is an eyedropper filled pen from Opus 88. This is the Opus 88 Koloro Demonstrator. This looks like it's a vac filler, but it's not. It's an eyedropper filled pen, but does have a shutoff valve. So it's kind of, I guess, what they sometimes call Japanese style. I really like the clip on this. It's kind of like a Pilot style clip. Really, really nice pen. I like these sort of clear acrylic bits here. Dude, really nice. Does not post. That's probably about the only objection I have with this, but nice pen. So here we have the Opus 88 Koloro Demonstrator. And this ink is diamine, terracotta. Opus 88, Koloro, Demonstrator. Really nice pen. Like this one a lot. I've had this for a few years. Like it a lot. All right, next up is a flagship. This is the Pelikan M1005 Stresemann. So this is the Big Daddy Pelikan. Here's the M805, which I had out earlier. This is a bigger pen. It's a girthier pen, it's a longer pen, and has a bigger nib. And I love this pen. This pen is great. Beautiful, gorgeous, huge nib. Just love it. Fantastic pen. Not a cheap pen by any means, but you're really, really getting what you pay for here. This is a great, great pen. So this is the Pelikan. M1005 Stresemann. It's called the Stresemann, is based on this pattern, this gray pinstripe pattern. That's what makes it the Stresemann edition. And this has an 18 karat nib in medium, and it's very broad for medium because Pelikan nibs run very, very, very broad. And this ink is Pelikan, Edelstein, Star Ruby. Great pen. Love, love, love this pen. Did a full video on it a while back. Beautiful, beautiful pen. Next up is a pen from PenBBS. This is the PenBBS 500. This is actually one of my favorite pens from PenBBS. It uses this very cool spring-loaded syringe system. So what you do is you unscrew this end here, you extend this rod, you screw it into place. You can then actuate the spring mechanism. It's like a spring syringe, not totally unlike a TWSBI Go, and then you just simply screw it back in. So it really works well. The filling mechanism works great. I really like it. They made it with this indentation here, presumably to post, but the problem is it doesn't really post very well. So that's probably the only negative I have on this pen. Other than that, it's a great, great pen. I did replace the nib. I was getting a little bored of that PenBBS nib in fine, so this is a Jinhao No. 6 nib in medium. So here we have a PenBBS 500 with a No. 6 Jinhao nib in medium. And this ink is PenBBS number 159, which is Bitter Herb. PenBBS 500, one of my absolute top favorite PenBBS pens. Next up is another PenBBS pen, actually. This is the PenBBS 355 version 2. This is the improved version. I did a video with Doug Rathbun reviewing this pen. Great pen. They really addressed a lot of issues with sort of the twitchiness of the filling mechanism on the 355 with on the original version with this. So watch the video that Doug and I put together. We're going through a lot of details about the differences. This is essentially a bulk filler, like a Conid almost type filling mechanism, but this is the second iteration of it from PenBBS. So this is a PenBBS number 355, and we'll call it V2. And this has a steel nib in fine. And this ink is, you've seen this ink a few minutes ago. This is Robert Oster Soda Pop Blue. Oop. So you get to see the ink twice in one video. You saw it in the Ranga Giant 9B a little while back. PenBBS 355 version 2. Next up is another great pen from Pilot. This is the Pilot Custom 74. And this has a very unique nib. This has a 3-tined music nib. I really love the way this writes. Get a lot of really great variation, etc. Just a fantastic, fantastic writer. Beautiful, beautiful nib, actually. Everything about it, I just really like this one. So this guy, again, you can get this in a bunch of different nibs, but I just really think this is a fantastic nib. Somewhat unique, actually. You don't see these too many people making these nibs. And this ink is Iroshizuku Asagal. Pilot Custom 74 with the 3-tined music nib. All right. Last but not least, and again, this is a pen that I really, really like a lot. This is the Diplomat Aero Flame. This is a really heavy, big chunk of steel. This is a big, solid, all steel pen that has been, each one is unique because they're hand flamed with a torch to get this fantastic multicolor pattern on it. Really, really cool pen, but it is a chunky pen, really, really heavy, got some serious heft to it. So anyway, so this is the Diplomat Aero Flame. And this has a steel number 6 nib in medium. And this ink is Monteverde Cherry Danish. So really, really nice nib. Really like it a lot. Love this pen. Very unique, sort of hand done, and it's really heavy. So that's another thing I like about it. Anyway, that's a lot of pens. I certainly hope you enjoyed this taste of my pens for September. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching this video, because I sure enjoyed. Oh, wait a minute. Before we say goodbye, we're not going to say goodbye yet. I first need to ask you to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Please do those things. That would be much appreciated. Now I can say goodbye until we see each other again. As always, have a great day. Bye-bye.